Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we're going to do a little game called Buy, Borrow, or Banish, and we're going to do 11 rounds of this game today. And I've done videos, a couple videos before, doing this before. And what Buy, Borrow, or Banish is you are taking 3 games, and you have to, each one of you have to either buy it, borrow it, or banish it. So you're going to choose one for each of those. And it's a fun little game, and a lot of Facebook board game groups have gotten in on this little trend. It's not trending so much anymore, but for a while it was pretty popular, and I made a couple videos back like a year ago doing this. I've seen a couple more people do put these on their Facebook posts and stuff like that, and people debate them and stuff like that. And I just think it's like a fun little thing to do. And I went through and I found 11 more that I thought I would take a look at and play buy, borrow, or banish for them. And for the most part, I like pretty much all of the games that are on these lists. There's a couple of them that I'm not so big of, but for the most part, I like all of these games in here. So I thought it'd be a little bit more interesting if I liked all of the games. So let's just start with our first one. And our first series of games is some skirmish games. We have Dice Throne, Summoner Wars, and Unmatched. And out of those 3, there's one that is very easily my least favorite of them. That is Dice Throne. And I don't think it's a bad game by any means. It's just not in the tier that I put Summoner Wars in and Unmatched. So that one's going to get banished. And Dice Throne is very much like a Yahtzee-style battling game, where Summoner Wars is a card game where you're playing out cards onto the board, moving those cards around. Unmatched is a battling miniatures game, but you're using cards to do that with. This is kind of hard to just let one of them go, but I have to go with I'm gonna borrow Unmatched. No, I'm gonna borrow Summoner Wars, and I'm going to buy Unmatched. So Unmatched buy, Summoner Wars borrow, and Dice Throne banish. And banish, of course, means you never get to play it again. So I never get to play Dice Throne again. Going on to the second set, we have a bunch of 2-player games. These games have a bigger version, and they made a 2-player version of them, and they put the name as their name plus Duel. We have 7 Wonders Duel, Splendor Duel, and Imhotep Duel. Out of those 3, I feel like these Duel games are a lot different than their original game, except for Imhotep. Imhotep Duel is quite a bit similar to the original. You can feel like there's some differences, but I feel like Imhotep and Imhotep Duel, out of those 3, are the most similar from each other. So I just need to have Imhotep or Imhotep Duel. So I'll banish Imhotep Duel because I can just play Imhotep and get that feeling. Now, 7 Wonders Duel has been one of my all-time favorite games for a long time, and Splendor Duel is a newer game that I've started playing in the past year and a half or so, whenever it came out, and I've really liked it. So this one's kind of a tough one, and surprisingly enough, I am going to choose Splendor Duel as the game that I'm buying, because I just like it that much, and it's coming out to the table way more than actually even 7 Wonders Duel has ever come out to the table. It's just easy to break out and it's fun. So I'm going to buy Splendor Duel, borrow 7 Wonders Duel, and banish Imhotep Duel. Going on to the third set of games. The third set of games is in the line of a series of games. This is the role player series games. So we have Lockup, Role Player, and Cartographers. And I really like all of these games. I like all of them a lot, actually. But I think I'm going to banish Cartographers in this set, because Cartographers is a flip and write sort of game where you flip over a shape, and then you're going to draw that shape onto one of your maps, basically. And I'm going to banish it because I have other flip and write games that do something similar. I think Cartographers is probably my favorite in that line of games of, drawing shapes for a flip and write. But I have other games that can kind of give me that kind of same feel. So banishing Cartographers. I am going to I'm going to buy Lockup, and I'm going to borrow Role Player, which might surprise a lot of people, because a lot of people think Role Player is the best game in this series of games. But Lockup is just a worker placement game with some hidden workers where they have certain a strength to them, and I really like Lockup. I really like Role Player as well. So buying Lockup, borrowing Role Player, and banishing Cartographers. Going on to the fourth set. The fourth set is a set of party games, word party games. This is Just One, Codenames, and So Clover. Now, So Clover and Just One, give me that same sort of feel to them. So I don't want to. I want to keep just one of them, and I'm going to keep just one of them. So I'm going to banish So Clover. Now, out of Just One and Codenames, which one do I like better? Which one works a little bit better to me? I'm going to buy Codenames and borrow Just One and banish So Clover. I'm buying Codenames over Just One because I think Codenames is a little bit more versatile with player count, where Just One, I think it's better when you have more players for Just One. Where Codenames, you can play this game anywhere from 4 players to 8 players, and it doesn't feel like I have a preference for player count for that. So definitely keeping Codenames for that one. Going to the fifth set of games. The fifth set of games is a set of drafting games. And that's pretty much where the comparisons to those games finish. We've got Nidavelir, Bunny Kingdom, and It's a Wonderful World. All of them use drafting as their main mechanism. Nidavelir is a very simplified drafting game. Bunny Kingdom, you're drafting these basically bunnies to put into this grid. And It's a Wonderful World, sort of this drafting game where you're building out an engine. I think pretty easily Bunny Kingdom is my least favorite out of them, but I do like Bunny Kingdom. I think it's a really cute game, but I think the other 2 games are just a level above them, a tier above what Bunny Kingdom is. So I'm going to banish Bunny Kingdom. I'm going to buy Nidavelir and borrow It's a Wonderful World, because I've played It's a Wonderful World so many times that it's it's run its course for me. I think it's an amazing game, but I've played it so much that it's kind of dropped a little bit for me just because I've played it so much. And Nidavelir, I'm still really enjoying Nidavelir. Going on to the sixth set of games. The sixth set of games are a bunch of little small card games that have an auction bidding sort of sense to them. We have For Sale, Biblios, and High Society. This one was kind of a tough one. I know which one I want to buy for sure. I'm going to buy For Sale. I like For Sale the most out of these ones. And Biblios and High Society, I feel pretty similar feelings about them. I really like both of those. But out of those 2, I'm going to borrow Biblios and banish High Society, just because I think Biblios works a little bit better, but High Society is a great classic game. So buying For Sale, borrowing Biblios, and banishing High Society. Going on to the 7th set now. Over halfway through now. The set of games are very, very popular games. This one might be a very contested one that people are going to want to talk about. We've got Wingspan, Arc Nova, and Earth. All of them are very, very popular games. Everybody's got very strong opinions about these games. I like all of these games. But there is one game that I like the least out of this. And it's the game that's the newest and that has a lot of hype behind it. And it's Earth. It's actually right behind me. I like Earth quite a bit. I think I gave it an 8 rating. But I like the other games better than Earth. So Earth is going to get banished. Now, out of Wingspan and Arc Nova, 2 games that I own, 2 games that I'm pretty much always going to own, which one would I buy and which one would I borrow? I think I'm going to buy Wingspan and borrow Arc Nova just because Wingspan is a little bit easier to get to the table. Arc Nova is a great game, but I play it a lot solo, and I don't break it out as often as I do Wingspan. So, yep, I'm going to buy Wingspan, borrow Arc Nova, and banish Earth. Oh, some people are going to be mad about that one. Going on to the next set of games. The next set of games is our deck building games that have a board to them, and you're going to be traveling around the board via playing these cards and building out your deck. We've got Clank, Catacombs, we've got The Hunger, and we have Quest for El Dorado. There is one game here that I actually don't like. I know I said I like most of the games that are on these lists. This is one of them that I actually don't like because I think it's just a worse version of Clank, and that is The Hunger. The Hunger is a deck building game, but a lot of times you're just adding bad cards into your hand, so it's going to be, you're just getting worse and worse throughout the game, which is pretty odd for a deck building game. But yeah, The Hunger is going to get banished, and that one was easy for me. Now between Clank, Catacombs, and Quest for El Dorado, I'm going to go with Clank. I really like Clank. Clank Catacombs is a great deck building game. Or you could go Clank the deck building game, the original. I would still pick Clank over Quest for El Dorado. Quest for El Dorado is a great introductory intro deck building game. And it's still one that I find very, very fun. But I'm going to buy Clank, borrow Quest for El Dorado, and banish The Hunger. The ninth set of games. The ninth set of games are dice worker placement games, which is probably my favorite type of mechanism in board gaming. We've got Alien Frontiers, the classic game, Circadians First Light, and Lorenzo Il Magnifico, a very popular Euro-style looking game. Out of the three, I'm really going to banish Alien Frontiers. I just covered Alien Frontiers in a review. I said it was a really good introductory dice worker placement game, but it's just not one that I just don't think it's crunchy enough for myself that I'm going to like it over these other ones. The other ones are very crunchy dice worker placement games. Now between Circadians and Lorenzo Il Magnifico, I'm going to buy Circadians First Light and borrow Lorenzo Il Magnifico just because Circadians is one of my all-time favorite games, so I definitely can't get rid of that. So yep, buying Circadians, borrowing Lorenzo, and banishing Alien Frontiers. Going on to the 10th set of games, we have some abstract sort of games. A couple popular ones. We've got Azul, Sagrada, and Noctiluca. And Noctiluca is by far the least popular out of these ones. A lot of people don't know it. But this one was kind of an easy one for me, because Sagrada, I feel like, has run its course for me. I've played it quite a few times. I've probably played Sagrada 20 some times. And it's a nice little drafting dice game. You're placing out dice into this window, but it's kind of run its course for me, like I said. Azul is a good gateway style game, but by far my favorite in this list is Noctiluca. So I'm going to buy Noctiluca, borrow Azul, and banish Sagrada. Going on to the last set of games, and these are all small two-player trick-taking card games. We have Fox in the Forest, Claim, and Jekyll versus Hyde. Like I said, they're all two-player only trick-taking games, which is kind of a hard thing to pull off, but there are quite a few two-player trick-taking games out in the market now, since trick-taking has just kind of gotten a resurgence, and everybody wants to make their own trick-taking game. Out of these three, my favorite one is easy to pick out for this one. It's Claim. I really like Claim as a trick-taking game. Jekyll versus Hyde is a very unique game for trick-taking, and Fox in the Forest is a pretty basic, simplified version of trick-taking. And that's the reason why I'm not really a big fan of Fox in the Forest, really. You play it a couple times and I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm just not a huge fan of Fox in the Forest. So I am going to buy Claim, borrow Jekyll versus Hyde, and banish Fox in the Forest. And that is the last set of games that we're going to be doing buy, borrow, or banish for. So make sure to comment down below your picks for all of these sets of games. I'd be really interested to see what everybody picks for these. Either way, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care.